戦争は変わった。一つの時代が終わり、俺たちの戦争は終わった。
War has changed. It's no longer about nations, ideologies, or ethnicity. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. War and its consumption of life has become a well-oiled machine. War has changed. Verified soldiers carry algorithmic arms, manipulate social influence, AI enhance and regulate their timelines. Memetic control, information control, emotion control, battlefield control. Everything is monitored and kept under control. War has changed. The age of deterrence has become the age of control, all in the name of averting catastrophe from weapons of mass destruction. And he who controls the battlefield controls history. War has changed. And when the battlefield is under total control, war becomes routine.
Think outside the cage.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Crime News Tour.
You're listening to Canary Crime News Talk. Today is June 29th, 2026. We are live to tape on episode number 953. And today, garments and gateways. And signing on from Off the Grid, Razzle Dazzle. I'm your best buddy Basil, and you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, at Face Like the Sun, director of the Age of Deceit films and author of Prophecy Without Panic, Recovering the Patterns Behind Bible Prophecy, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Live to tape from the metaverse to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. It's Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Ow, Monday.
And according to the Canary Cry calendar, today is Day of the Christian Martyr, and a day where we observe and remember the death of Apostle Paul, who was beheaded, among other Christian martyrs like Stephen, in the book of Acts.
Yeah.
And hundreds, thousands, perhaps, hundreds of thousands, maybe, over the centuries who have been killed for standing on the ground of declaring Christ as Lord and Savior. So,
is this on the Catholic liturgical calendar? Is it just sort of a general Christendom? Is there a specific source for this day?
So, I didn't look too deep into it, but I don't think it's a super old thing, although it's I know that in recent years people started talking about it in the context of the massacres that were taking place in Africa, certain nations in Africa.
The Nigerian thing going on.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. But I don't know 100% as far as the origin. All I know is that it's on the Canary Cry calendar, and if it's on the Canary Cry calendar, it is good enough for me.
That's what matters. Well, good. Well, let us remember all the martyrs for Christ today as we jump back into exploring what's been going on. Thank you, everybody, for your patience with me. I am now back. Gonz, wonderful job keeping the show going. Last week was doing some Father's Day traveling, and I was not necessarily in charge of making the travel plans. I had put in my requests to those who were making the plans that, I had a couple work days, and when the tickets showed up, they showed up when they showed up, and I had to make a choice whether to make a bigger stink to the beloved people in my life who made the travel plans. But here we are, and we're back. So wonderful. Glad to be here. With
We
that,
have children and dogs in the background today. The wife and the daughter are at camp for a whole week. They get to run away and go to camp. So I'm
Fun.
here stuck with all the boys, and that means loud, rowdy, messy, the whole thing.
It's very important. It's a very important aspect of the show. It's part of the signaling and the filtering mechanisms in place here at this show, so people don't think that we are AI. It's here to reassure all humans that we're on the level.
Yeah, try to mimic that AI. Try to mimic Cody barking in the background, and
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well, with that, Gons, I can't think of any announcements or anything that should go right here on the front. So maybe you want to dive us in on what you got for us to start today?
I mean, I would love to.
Straight to jail, straight to jail.
I'm going to haunt you. It reeks of an inside job. I'm going to haunt you.
This is this is a Candace update right at the top here, along with a semi-NEPHILIM update, I suppose.
NEPHILIM update. NEPHILIM update. NEPHILIM update.
Candace Owens going viral once again, making certain claims, but I think it's important to play the clip here. It is a 3-minute clip. We don't have to play the whole thing, but as far as what she's saying, it's just kind of sad for me to watch. On one hand, people that love Candace take what she's saying too literally, and then the other hand, people that do not like Candace also take what she's saying too literally and not really hearing the meta analysis of what she's saying, because ironically enough, or maybe not so ironic, some of what she is saying is very similar to what we've been saying for about 15 years. And that's kind of it's been our sort of thing the last couple of years, is these sort of new faces of the alternative media, independent media folks taking up the message that we've been delivering for a good consistent 15 years on the podcast, and just making it very inflammatory, and grabbing everyone's attention with really spicy headlines and stuff.
Before we hear it, just so I understand, because, again, always interested in trying to understand the sort of meta landscape of the alternative media versus the mainstream media, and the way that especially alt media is so easily co-opted. And, we got people who love Candace. We got people who have other thoughts toward Candace. And, we're not here to necessarily take a side on the Candace issue.
No.
But to share kind of what we take a step back and see what we see happening broadly. Now, you gave a little clue here that you don't think that what she's saying is literal. Is that what we're?
If I'm giving,
are you under the impression that she's not being literal here?
If I allow Candace the benefit of the doubt, I don't think she's being literal with what she's saying. However, I mean, again, I think there's that wiggle room there. It's sort of as you mentioned, before, as we're putting the show together, the Alex Jones.
It is the age of re-enchantment, right? Maybe it's literal, maybe it's not. Maybe we're in an age now where the separation between literal and figurative is less important than it used to be. I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah. So you decide whether she's being literal or not. And here's the thing, again, there's an overlap of. There's a nugget of truth in there with everything. And so, again, people that take it too literally, they might be going a little too far. People that take it too literally and go against what she's saying is maybe taking it too far.
Well, let's find out what it is. Let's save some of this for after. Okay, we've built up the anticipation enough.
I'm telling you, I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at.
Okay, just real quick. She's talking about Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and Sam Altman, all sort of tech giant people in the world right now.
I don't even think these people are human. Like, I look at Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Peter Thiel, and I'm pretty sure they're hybrid. You know what I mean? Like they just look like an Apple software that I should be able to download at night, like my phone's getting an update or something. It's something in the eyes. Like, I don't know. I'm like, I know I'm human. I don't know if I stabbed you if you bleed, I'm not going to stab them, but I don't know if they bleed all the way. I think a battery would fall out. You know what I mean? And I just get that sense. I've always known it was demonic. And people just get on board because, as we talk about in this book, they are using science and this idea of technology and this idea of transforming society for the better to indoctrinate us into accepting this. And it's wrong and it's backwards. And the main component of all of this is psychology, right? They're able to do it because of psychology, making you think that society has gotten better. Our kids have objectively gotten dumber. We've become fatter. We've become less healthy. We've become
Can we pause it real quick? Now, I think actually this is very interesting, and I see where you're coming from. I see it. I feel it. The way she's starting out here is she's saying, when I look at them, right? So she's kind of implying, like, literally when I look at them, what I see, their physical characteristics. She's almost making like a reference to physiogeny, which is like by the shape of someone's face, you can like tell things about them that may not be apparent. And she's looking at their physical characteristics. At least that's how she's talking. Now, she could be, being sort of poetic or metaphorical, but she is referring to their physical characteristics. And she didn't quite say, like, they're a hybrid. Are they are they aliens? Like, that's where when she uses the word hybrid in sort of the popular, parlance, now you say hybrid, you're thinking alien hybrid, or maybe GMO chimera hybrid, a factor of their biological makeup. But what she says is, when I look at them, they look like a hybrid. They look like software, like she could download them, right? So she's kind of,
but if she stabbed them, she's not going to stab them. But if she stabbed them, a battery would fall out.
Yeah. So she's referring to them physically, but then also in this, again, software, computer, digital world, as we consider it, the enemy's counterfeit of the spiritual world, right? So she's not quite talking about them in a spiritual sense, but she's talking about them in this counterfeit spiritual sense, the digital realm, like maybe their code, or maybe I can download them, something like that. So kind of using the aesthetics of like talking spiritually about them, but it's on this sort of counterfeit level. It's very fascinating, actually. I don't know if she meant to imply this thing, but it gives you some insight into like how her brain is working at the moment. And that could be one of the ways that a lot of people are relating to her, because of course we're in the age of re-enchantment. People are getting more spiritual, or perhaps they're getting more digital, and saying digital in that sense is like the counterfeit of true spiritual realm, God's created spiritual realm versus the enemy's created digital realm. And it's just I could see how the ambiguity, or maybe even the mixing of concepts there, can be a very effective and entrancing way for her to talk.
It's very similar to Alex Jones talking about the demon-infested Democrats or whatever. He's, like, you look at their face and you see the demons, that kind of cadence and sort of thing. But her delivery is much softer than Alex Jones. So the headlines and what people are quote tweeting and all this stuff is, Candace thinks that these three gentlemen are hybrids and implied as aliens. And maybe, if you have the JD Vance, all aliens are demonic, then, you can kind of put two and two together. But let's let her continue to explain what she's saying here.
Become less emotionally sound, and yet they are convincing us that this is like humanity's great leap forward. We put a man on the moon, and he just like called them up and was like, "Hey, press, what's up? I'm up here. Yeah, it's so cool. It's really great. It's nice. Starry night up here." Cabinet Secretary I go by in 69, and they get these people, they tell you like he's a genius. They're all writing like he's a genius, so we should just accept that Elon Musk is a genius, because like all the writers who are obviously indoctrinated into the occult are telling us that this is the next person that we should worship. The establishment of Hollywood, it was all occults. They were all Aleister Crowley proteges who were just raping kids and summoning demons, and demons are real. So at the same time that they're summoning demons, they are making us all believe that faith is not real. And that has been, I think, the greatest trick that the devil ever played, right? Is making people think that he didn't exist, and making people atheist, making people believe that there's nothing, like you're here for a moment in time, because then it allows them to further tether us to their reality and to their God, which is money, right? Well, if you truly knew and believed, like I do, I actually know that this is not it. Like I know this is not it. But if you truly believed that, you wouldn't sell your soul. People think that that's just like an expression. Oh, he sold his soul. No, you are literally selling your soul. Like when you tell lies and you go down a path of lying because you're so afraid of not having the security of a paycheck, or you're willing to do something terrible to maintain that job, or keeping your mouth shut to maintain that job. We're seeing it right now with the Charlie Kirk case, right? You're selling your soul. Like there's a life after this. They have made you pledge your allegiance to their dollar because they know life is going on. They know that. They want you to literally sell them your soul. That's my personal belief. It's why I am religious. It's why I speak about, my faith openly, because I just know if this is not it. And I just know these people are demons. Like, I don't know. They just like, look at the way they breathe. Like, you know what I mean?
Look at the way they, know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, Candace. In fact, I mean, she's not necessarily wrong about all of that.
That's the thing. That's
wrong about that. We have been wrong about everything for 15 years.
Well, that's the thing that really drives me nuts, is that if you take the delivery away, if you take away Candace, the message is very similar to what we've been saying about society and, the occult and all these things that we've been ranting about for 15 years into a microphone, but we don't have the platform she does, obviously, maybe for obvious reasons.
We've got the history, Gons, and that's what matters. Okay.
Yeah,
our platform must, obviously isn't large in the way that hers is, but ours is about 10 years older than her. And, again, this is not about how great we are, but it is about how informed all of the Canary Cry community has been for 10 years longer than Candace is sort of catching a lot of people up.
Well, and also the delivery does, I think that's the part that bothers me, and maybe that's what's bothering some other people, but the delivery is very crude almost, and it's almost like, okay, I can see how, and maybe that's why she's so popular, is that she's very divisive.
Yeah, of course.
People are either way about her or way against her. And I unfortunately see some well-meaning Christians kind of fall into that false dichotomy, of like being for Candace or against Candace. And it's like, yeah, if you're wasting your time doing that kind of thing, you're not
that's
seeing the
a
whole
great point to make. I think that's ultimately, the core points that I think we should make, and you did just make, which is, everybody's fighting about, I like Candace, I don't like Candace. I like Tucker, I don't like Tucker. Taking sides, getting sort of caught up in the game, getting caught up in the psyop of taking the right position, right? And then sort of categorizing other people based on their paradigmal position on these individual personalities. And, it's not that we do or don't like Candace. The point is we can spot and see the landscape of sort of this battlefield and her as a character. And now that can, how it's much more effective, the Candace operation, whatever the Candace operation is, the Tucker operation, and every operation with these sort of alt media, the pantheon of alt media, similar how we have like a pantheon of billionaires, and you gotta take take sides, or you've got the pantheon of politicians that represent the different categories of thought you can sit in. You've got the pantheon of these larger than life alt media figures, and the operation doesn't work without getting people to take sides on each individual personality.
Yeah.
Because we start to categorize ourselves, even if in our own heads, about, are we yes, no on Candace? Are we yes, no on Tucker? Then we're kind of playing the game that the enemy wants us to play. And again, like I said, I can't say she's wrong about everything there, but because of I guess maybe the craziness of her, other topics, whether she's right or she's wrong, like you said, it's just sort of the chaos of her as a character. It sort of taints everything that she comes to say. And yeah, goodness gracious. I don't know if this is a super new clip, because I feel like she's talked about this before. Maybe it's a new clip and she's just talking about stuff that she's talked about before. That is certainly the trap that we are in 24/7. But yeah,
it is what it is. It is what it is. Yep. And I think as time goes on, there will be new faces and new voices that will take the platform. And ultimately, a lot of times, the figures that get really big are big for a reason, whether it's by design or if it's a spiritual thing. It seems to be that you've got to push a political move, like,
and I would usually
political move. It's probably not. It's not going to gain traction. At least that's what I've noticed.
Oh, of course. And, you make the point, and I think it's true, and we all know this, the fact that Candace is allowed to be humongous on YouTube when other people saying same or similar things can't be humongous. It's been pointed out by, of course, all sorts of people. The fact that Candace is allowed to be tens of millions of views, every week or whatever on the platform that makes a habit of banning people for saying the same stuff. Obviously, somebody wants Candace to be a leading figure, and that could be whoever. Maybe it's the tech billionaires, maybe it's the government, maybe it's the CIA, or ultimately, as we always must struggle to understand and see part of the landscape, she wouldn't be allowed to be megastar without God's permission, without God's sovereign allowing for her to be so, whether or not, she's strictly, I guess, promoting God's side of things or not. God uses all sorts of people, puts them into positions of power. The Bible tells us over and over and over, for his purposes. And those purposes are often entirely mysterious to those of us trying to figure it out.
Yep. And we will continue to track folks like Candace Owens, not for the sake of it's not game hunting. It's merely to comment on what she says, or even, but just keeping updated. But also, it's
on the landscape here.
Yeah, the landscape. It's a litmus test about where we are in culture. I think, I don't know, she is losing a little bit of popularity, but everybody in the alt independent world is losing a lot of popularity of recent months, I guess, and weeks.
Yeah. People are exhausted, man.
People are very exhausted with the whole thing. But we'll keep track of it, and we'll deliver anytime there's something like this. And, we see it on the timeline. It's very explosive, and and that's the other thing. I'm seeing a lot of people share this clip, and their own commentary is, like we said at the beginning, Candace Owens thinks Peter Thiel, Elon Musk, and Sam Altman are hybrid aliens. That's what they're saying.
Digital demonic hybrids, which maybe she's not wrong.
Yeah, she might not be wrong. All right. So there you go.
All right.
Let's catch up
Yeah.
on some things here.
Just for a moment, let's catch up. Let's thank some producers here. I was looking at the schedule, or the calendar rather, and adding up when the last time we read out producers was, and it was 2 weeks ago, just about 2 weeks ago. So we've got
That's
almost
crazy.
a half a month of producers to thank, which, you know, that could sound scary. But here's the thing, some silver lining on not having a lot of producers is that, look, this isn't going to take longer than it would if there was only 2 days of producers to thank. It's just the way it is. So let's do it. We're very grateful for our producers because we
Yes.
are on the value for value model. You'll notice, and we think this is very important, and we think it also has almost everything to do with our position in the world. We do not take corporate money. We don't do advertisements. We don't do YouTube partnerships, platform partnerships. We don't do sponsorships. We don't do affiliate codes because there is something inherently built into the system that when you begin to rely on the support of corporations and, like Candace says, the mammon worshiping power structure, there are all sorts of sneaky, invisible ways that at least is not spiritually aligned with what we're trying to do here. Instead, we rely on the generosity of our producers, and producers are people who come in, they say, hey, I get value from this. I want it to be here again next week, and take responsibility and know that we can only keep doing this when people like you add value back into the show. You get value, you add value, and you can do that in whatever way that means for you. We like to say you can produce the show with your time, your talent, your treasure, and we like to thank you on the show because without you, we would not be here. I'm going to start out with executive producers, Gons. Of course, a big old shout out to all of our monthly producers, those who have been with us for many years, a long time, those who have just signed up with us, people who say, I get value, I want to continue on into the future getting value, and they sign up for a monthly producership in whatever amount that they want. It's up to them, because God will inspire based on your situation what to produce every month with, and you can go to canarycrysupplydrop to do that. So a big shout out to all the monthlies. Okay. And the executive producers, we're going to thank them. Now, these are the executive producers from episode 951 all the way through 953. So thank you very much, keeping us alive. I'm going to start out with the one, the only. It is Mr. Sir Alex Protocol V2 Baron of the Breen Protocol. And he's coming every episode for $100 and 33 cents. Illuminatus! And fun, he is on a 499 episode streak supporting the show, which is exciting because that means next episode he will be on his 500th episode supporting the show in a row.
That is insanity.
Insane. And even more than that, he is on a 153 episode streak of executive producing the show. Big shout out. Thank you, Sir Alex.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
We also had an anonymous executive producer come in with a nice round number, so we don't disclaim it on the show. For those who don't know, when you produce the show, if you come in with a nice round number on the 10 or the 5, that's you saying you'd prefer we don't disclose the amount. If you don't mind us disclosing the amount, add some fun numbers on there. Put 33 cents on there, 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of like Sir Alex Protocol. You could put 77 cents, 11, whatever. Have some fun with it, and we'll disclose it. But this generous executive anonymous producer did send a note, and this is why I actually chose to keep their name anonymous. That was my own decision. And it was because of this note. It says, hi, Basil and Gons. You don't have to thank me for this on the air. Now, when somebody says that and they say, you don't have to, of course, I'm thinking, well, maybe I want to. So maybe I will. right? But I took into consideration that somebody may say like, hey, you don't have to do this, right? Like they actually don't want me to. So I split the difference. I kept them anonymous, but I'm going to read the note because it's good to hear what executive producer have to say. It says, hi, Basil and Gons. You don't have to thank me for this on air. This was supposed to be monthly contributions, but my PayPal got messed up for a few months. It's back up and running, and this is me just catching up. And I wanted to just give this executive producer the honor they deserve, because this is a good reminder for everyone who thinks that they're supporting the show on a monthly basis. PayPal, Stripe, all of these things are notorious for canceling your monthly producerships, telling no one, not telling you, not telling us, not sending you a notification, nothing. So this is a good reminder for everybody who thinks they're on a monthly producership to maybe go check it, make sure it's going. And that's what Anonymous did. They saw it wasn't going, and goodness gracious, praise God, and thank you, Anonymous, coming in, catching up. You don't have to do that, but you did it. That's very special. Thank you.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Last but not least, we have executive producer Sir Jamie, not the Lannister.
Hey, Sir Jamie, thank you.
Sir Jamie came in, supported the show for his tithe amount. Thank you very much. And that's it. Those are the 3 executive producers for the last 2 weeks. And
wow. Really?
Here we are. Yep, here we are. There we go.
Okay. Okay.
It's just where we're at, and good, just being transparent with everybody out there. The situation as it
are you tired of winning yet? I was told that we're going to be in a golden age, and we're going to be tired of winning.
God knew that I might get tired of winning, so he's doing this so that we don't take for granted all the winning that we've done in the past.
Amen.
And that's it. So, but we do have a handful of regular producers that I'm going to run through real quick here. These are people who came in under the executive producer amount, but they also came in over $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show if they wish. And I'm going to start out with producer Josie Wales.
Josie Wales?
Josie Wales.
Thank you.
Coming in for $33.33 plus fees. $33.33.
Illuminatus!
Thank you.
And Josie Wales says, more blessed it is to give than to receive. May the Lord see this giving as taking part of the ministry. Amen. The Lord does see that. We do see that. Thank you for taking part of the ministry with us here. We couldn't do without you, Josie.
Yep, absolutely.
Next up, we've got the one, the only producer, Rebecca T, coming in.
Rebecca T, thank you.
Rebecca T has kept her streak going this whole time. She came in for a total of 4 episodes, including this one. Came in for 1314. She came in once for 2345, 2345. She came in for 1234, 1234. And she came in for 2026, the year.
Wow.
Yeah. And Rebecca T is on a 36 episode streak.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Incredible.
Thank you, Rebecca T.
Thank you.
We also have producer Julie S comes in with a nice round.
Julie S.
And a note that says, keep praying for us people across the pond. We are living in a land I no longer recognize, and we don't seem to have any control to change in the natural. Yeah, goodness gracious. Been tracking with all the things going on. Keir Starmer stepping down, which is big, huge things happening in the UK. And you know what, Julie, it is difficult, and often it is true that we feel like we don't seem to have any control to change things in the natural, of course. However, we are not just in the natural. And so it is an opportunity to be invited into the spiritual, and God's giving everyone in the UK an opportunity, although there are lots of people trying to do things in the natural to change things. But when you feel that way, sometimes that's God's way of saying, just lean into me, lean in, rely on the Lord. God has a plan. And that can be a very special result of a sad circumstance.
Stay hydrated over there too. Keep drinking the water. I hear it's extremely hot. So
I heard a statistic that I have not verified myself. So verify this on your own self. But I heard that there are more people who die in Europe every summer of heat because of, over there in Europe, they're very strict on like having AC, your use of power. It's this whole thing. You just don't even have the option to not die of heat. There's more people that die of heat in Europe every summer than gun deaths in the United States every year.
Really?
I haven't verified it. That's what I heard, but I will say I do believe it. Willing to be corrected, but something for everybody to look up and keep in mind. So we're praying for you, European Canarians.
Okay. Well, apparently some of the charts that people have used to make that argument have some problems, according to some.
There's always something wrong with charts. Always something wrong with charts.
Yeah.
All right. We have producer Monica coming in.
Hey, Monica, thank you.
Jumped on a streak. Which she went from, I think, producing twice to, Monica's on a big streak, actually. Monica came in for $7.77, came in for $3.33, came in again for $7.77, and then today came in for $3.33 and is on a 6-episode streak.
She's on fire! Yeah, she's on a streak.
On fire.
It would have been fun to actually add all these up and see what that equals. It could be kind of fun, I guess. I was going to make that math mistake
where you put 7 and 3 and
777 is 33 away from the next
no, it's
thing. Not true. That's a good test for anybody out there who thinks they're good at math, which I get to be humbled on that every single time I try. And in the time it took me to say that, I did add it all up, and it comes out to 2220 222. Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, Monica.
On a 6-episode streak, which is, and a note that says value for value is fun. Quit mooching, folks. The boys need you. Thank you very much, Monica.
Well said.
Producer Map Watcher came in, joined the Patreon for a monthly producership of $3.16, $3.16. And there you go. That's it. Yeah.
Awesome.
No producership segment would be complete without celebrating the ongoing producership of Cage Rattler Coffee.
Ah, yes.
Get on over there, folks. Go to CageRattlerCoffee.com. Get your Cage Rattler coffee. It's gonna change your life, and it supports the show.
Cage Rattler Coffee, where value for value never tasted so good.
That's right. Of course, Cage Rattler Coffee. Coffee made by Canarians for Canarians, GMO-free, single origin, organic coffee, roasted in teeny tiny batches and delivered straight to your door on behalf of a fellow Canarian. And of course, every purchase goes to support the families of Canarians involved of doing it. And we're so grateful that Cage Rattler Coffee supports the show on a regular basis as well. So go on over there, Cage Rattler Coffee.
Do it. I'm going to have a sip right now.
Drink it up, drink it in. It's good stuff. Your cup runneth over.
Yes.
All right. And that concludes our list of financial producers for today, Guns. Thank you very much, everybody, for the producerships of the last 2 weeks. If you came in under the $7.77 mark, we will be thanking you on Wednesday.
All right. Let's get back to it.
Special thanks to our sponsor, Palantir.
Artificial intelligence. Surveillance state.
Oh, I was hoping to find this other jingle in time during that first one, but I did not. But here it
Most
is.
modeling is kind of acting like a
Beast.
but making it fashion.
Beast.
But then make it fashion.
All right.
Beast fashion, baby.
Beast fashion.
Beast
It's been a while.
We often, thankfully, we get to jump into our topic of beast fashion, which I think still, even today, when the whole world is catching up to all of our crazy topics, I still think that beast fashion is a proprietary segment around here. I don't hear Candace Owens talking about beast fashion yet.
Oh, if she ever uses the phrase beast fashion, can we sue her?
Can we? Can we charge her
Probably not.
royalties?
Yeah, maybe royalties for every time she mentions it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. All right. Well, The Atlantic, your favorite outlet, Basil, The Atlantic had an article and it was titled My New Life with the Palantir Chore Coat. I bought the most confusing jacket in America. Written by Sahil Desai. And there's a photo of Sahil here wearing this blue jacket. And we're going to read all about it here. It says, nothing about the Palantir Chore Coat makes any sense. Mine is a small size, though it's so oversized that I look like a teen wearing a hand-me-down. He doesn't get that that's the style right now. Then there's the color, a piercing blue that's nearly the shade of an iMessage bubble. The jacket is also the most comfortable and practical garment I own. Making lots of claims right from the get-go here.
Practical.
It's buttery soft and as heavy as a blanket, with 3 massive patch pockets that each can hold a paperback book. The coat's plastic buttons, swirls of black and blue, are unlike any I have ever seen. It is summertime, or it's summer now.
He goes into it.
The Palantir Chore Coat is made by the same Palantir named in homage to Lord of the Rings, the same Palantir that has developed a reputation as ruthlessly committed to any number of national security imperatives. And yes, the same Palantir that builds AI tools for the military and tracks migrants for ICE. The mysterious tech giant now also wants to sell you outerwear. Only a tiny Palantir logo is embroidered into the coat's left breast pocket, but flip the coat inside out and you'll find a message from Palantir's CTO, Shyam Sankar, sewn into the lining. Ask yourself constantly, am I winning? If the answer is yes, nothing else matters. Chaos is tolerable. Pain is tolerable. The only thing that matters is to win.
Indeed. Now,
what?
I want to say a couple of things so far. I don't want to get too stuck because I know there's other stuff, but I'm realizing maybe we're celebrating, beast fashion as something we've paid attention to for a long time. If there's anybody new that might be wondering what is beast fashion, and it's something we noticed a few years back, specifically was about I want to say it was the either the SpaceX or the Blue Origin rocket company. Came out, and it was a big to-do, a big whoop-de-doo about how they got like Gucci or something to design their space jumpsuits, right? And of course, it's a space program, so we're ultimately going to look through everything of the space program through the lens of the occult ancestry of the space program. Of course, Jack Parsons, all the occult workings of NASA and things like that, the development of rockets, stuff like this. And, this jumpsuit for, again, it was Blue Origin or something like that. It could have also been Space Force. And, spacesuits or jumpsuits or military uniforms or everything like this, they're very esoterically crafted, right? Because you've got logos, you've got sigils, you've got patches, and you look at these patches and each one of them has this sort of sigil, symbolic, esoteric stuff. What'd you find?
I found the episode that launched the segment called Beast Fashion.
Okay.
It was episode number 163 of Canary Cry News Talk back in November of 2019. Look at that, right before COVID. Look at that. We were all over it before COVID, folks.
Right before COVID.
Right before COVID. And the story, you're right, it was about the Virgin Galactic unveils spaceware for commercial astronauts.
It was the commercial astronauts, yes.
Yeah.
And, every so often we'll find these pieces of fashion, whether they're, space related or tech related, AI related. There's a whole phase of building fashion to resist the beast system, like to resist facial recognition, to trick tracking cameras. That was a whole thing. So the general idea with the beast fashion segment is this is particular fashion made for the beast system by the beast system. Okay.
Yeah.
And like all creative endeavors, and especially very powerful creative endeavors in the world, where the industry of such endeavor, it's just steeped in sort of mystique and esotericism that normal people don't necessarily see or care about or pay attention to, but it always has something to say about the direction of the beast system progressing here.
It was Under Armour making the clothing for the Virgin Galactic space flight thing that they were planning at the time.
I think it was one of the other space things that was
it maybe
thing? Yeah, maybe not Gucci. It was
one of commercial astronauts. So yeah, okay.
This was the commercial one. So this one, anyways, so that's the history of the beast fashion thing. Again, one thing that we think is very important that hasn't quite caught on yet. And so, Palantir, as this article will continue to sort of be confused by and wonder about, coming out and making a very particular line of beast fashion. There is no other company as beast system-y as Palantir right now. So this is like official, straight from the beast's mouth. And the question is always why? Why would Palantir get into fashion? And the very basic concept is, if you are, esoterically crafting fashion that people wear, it can carry the spell with it. People carry whatever spell that you're trying to cast on the world along with them, further spreading the attention, the human attention on your sigil or on a representative of your intent in the world. Just sort of the esoteric occult mechanics of the elite, spiritual subsystem trying to take over the world. And they said it right here in the beginning. This particular jacket has a quote from Palantir. It's not this, he's a CTO, and there you go. Okay, you got the logo. Yeah, sorry, you got the patch that has it. And let me just read it real quick again. The quote is, "Ask yourself constantly, am I winning? If the answer is yes, nothing else matters. Chaos is tolerable. Pain is tolerable. The only thing that matters is to win." And while it might come in the language of like Silicon Valley hustle culture, or maybe even like a splash of Trumpian political talk, right? It's also extremely Luciferian. It's an extremely Luciferian quote, right? It says, ask yourself constantly. So constantly keep in mind, keep your attention on this. Am I winning? Meaning, am I dominating? Am I in control? Do I control the universe around me? If the answer is yes, nothing else matters. Very reminiscent of, Aleister Crowley. What is the quote here?
Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law.
That's right. Do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Nothing else matters beyond your will and your control. Chaos is tolerable. Again, very Aleister Crowley. Pain is tolerable. Very Telema. The only thing that matters is to win. Extremely occult message sewn onto the inside of this thing, very cleverly hidden in like Silicon Valley entrepreneurship language, right? Now, when you look at the patch, and for those who are listening, I'll try to describe it, but for those who see it, you can see it's very bizarre formatting. Sorry, zoom in a little bit again so I can see it clearly. You know,
I was gonna say that it's got like little. It looks like a little card with like different spots to write words in. Although the quotes and everything don't follow those little spots.
You know, we said this again. I've gone on a rant about ancient, grimoires, old books of magic, right? And a part of grimoires is not just the words that are there, although the words are important, but a whole other part of grimoires, if you ever look at them, is their formatting is really bizarre. They are formatted in a way to make you read things a certain way, to make you see them a certain way. They're oftenly formatted very confusingly, sort of poetic.
It looks like the psycho written letter type thing. I will read for you the little tiny words that are in there. It does make
real quick. I want you to do that in one moment.
Okay.
And in this case, the words are spaced out in a way that you read it the regular horizontal way, line by line, and it says, ask yourself constantly, am I winning? If the answer is yes, nothing else matters. Chaos is tolerable. Pain is tolerable. The only thing that matters is to win. But it is spaced out in a way that it also creates two vertical columns. And you can read the vertical columns as their own, way of reading it versus reading the whole thing. And the left column reads, ask yourself constantly, winning? If the answer is yes, matters. Chaos is tolerable. The only thing is to win. So you could read it in sort of this poetic way, and it basically says the same thing. You don't need that left column. When you read that right column, you basically get the message. You're not losing anything from the original message. But then you read the right column, and it says, am I nothing else? Pain is tolerable. This matters.
That matters.
Whoa, bro. Take it easy, okay? So you've got multiple esoteric messages. You read it all together, but then you read it separately, and it's sort of giving this secret message, right? Very occult, very crazy. And it's just sewn in to a little patch on the inside of this. Nobody will read it, right? Nobody not wearing it, nobody not owning it will read it. So it's this sort of little secret that the wearer carries with them, this little spell, in their own person that is sort of hidden amongst the crowd, right? So very esoteric, very occult. And yeah, you say there's little words, you can't quite read them.
I can read them to you.
They're kind of in between, underneath, between the lines, right? So what you're going to do right now is what you're literally doing is reading in between
the lines. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So read in between the lines of this spell. What does it say?
Yeah, it says EST-03, established in 03, Palantir, made in USA, ontology, 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 ontology. It says it 4 times in one line. Ontology is the philosophical study of being.
Yeah,
it's the sub-discipline of metaphysics, right? That's what that is. So you get that over and over again. Said it 4 times. Software that dominates. Established 03, made in USA. Ontology, ontology, ontology. HQ, MIA, Miami, maybe. Made USA. Established 03. Mobilize, 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 mobilize. My day was yesterday.
Bro. Ontology, 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 mobilize, 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 mobilize. And literally what this jacket is the mobilization of Palantir's ontology.
Yep.
right?
There you go.
They are
Mhm.
putting their ontology in the form of this spell hidden in this jacket. People wear the jacket and they are mobilizing that spell into the public sort of secretly, sort of occultishly, like in the literal term of occults, like hidden,
Yeah,
right?
hidden. Yeah, hidden.
Hidden
Yep.
mobilization of their understanding or their study of metaphysics.
With software
Boom.
that dominates.
With software that dominates,
dominates.
which is another way of saying like satanic Luciferian software, right? Software that is the domination of the self dominating the world, with the like strict biblical understanding of witchcraft. The true understanding of like Satanism and stuff is not necessarily just the worship of the devil, although that's included, but it's the worship of the self, the original sin of Adam, the true purpose and meaning of, not meaning, but like core problem of the Tower of Babel, humanity serving the self. The whole thing's there. Is super trippy, dude. Now,
It is
before we
kinda
move
crazy.
on, I just want to mention
Mhm.
this real quick because
Yeah.
this connects with something that happened to me last week, and it
Oh, right.
happened.
Yeah.
And it happened, and I didn't really think about it at the time. It was just an interesting thing that I noticed, and I was out and about, and I saw someone wearing, coincidentally, a really cool jacket. Right? I'm walking around. I see somebody with a really cool jacket. It's a cool jacket. I want to see that jacket. I was just walking and saw them walking behind them. It was just like, cool cut, very clean, the whole thing. But on the back of the jacket was this very simple, almost symbolic, like sigil line drawing of a castle. And, look cool. Didn't really think about it. But underneath the castle was a very small paragraph, embroidered, but in a handwriting. And because it was handwriting, I couldn't really read it from far away. It's like small handwriting underneath this castle. And so it kind of forced me, it drew me in to like, I got to get closer to this. I got to see what it says. So I'm like kind of speed walking awkwardly to try to get behind this person and read their jacket secretly. And I read it. I'm going to try to do it by memory here. And some people may recognize it immediately, but it said, "You are now leaving the land of today and entering the land of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy." And I'm like, well, that's kind of that reads like a little spell. There's weird little spell on this random jacket. And so I look it up, I search that, and what that is the inscription that is written above the entrance arch to Disneyland. So it's a Disneyland jacket, of course, where instantly there's cult stuff going on. And the inscription in this small handwriting, which forces the viewer to get up and seek it out, right, to try to understand it, has the same inscription, the spell that is over the arch to the entrance of Disneyland. And I just thought, oh, that's interesting. Oh, weird. Okay, cool. It's kind of funky. Now, later on, I was telling my friend this, and my friend is a pretty cool guy. He's a professional who helps put on big music festivals like Lightning in a Bottle, Outside Lands, Bonnaroo. He's kind of a big shot in making those happen. And of course, from our studies and from the influence of Carl Teichrieb on us in the show, friend of the show, we understand those events as transformative events. And this is how the people who run these things also think about it. It's transformative events. They're these big ceremonial events that are programmed and designed to have people who go to them somehow be transformed by them, have these very powerful experiences, so they leave differently than they come. Arguably, you could think of Disneyland probably the same way, right? And so I'm telling him about this. I saw this jacket, isn't that thing? It's written over the entranceway to Disneyland. And he goes, "You know what that's called in my business?" He's talking about the business of putting on transformative events. He says, "You know what that's called in my business?" And I go, what? What's it called? He says, it's called a portal. And I'm like, really? So, which makes total sense, right? Of course.
Of course.
But he's just like, oh, yeah, very matter of factly. He's like, yeah, in my business, we call that a portal. And, he's in the logistics part of that. Like, he kind of does, kind of the stuff, just setting it up, putting the porta potties there, making decisions, mapping out the event. And it's very cool. And I've talked to him about this because he does a lot of social engineering. And
he does a lot of social engineering. Your buddy does a bunch of social engineering?
It's all social engineering, like setting up a music festival or an event or a place is all social engineering, because it's like, look, you put the porta potties here, you put the trash cans here.
Porta potty is another type of portal, by the way.
But yeah, right. And, he was kind of going off, and I was very interested in how, like, everything when you get into an event, interestingly enough, Disneyland's the exact same way. Every single decision on where things are at an event, like at a transformative event, is very particular to control the behavior of people. From where you set lights, which people are drawn to just naturally because they need to see, so they're going to go where the lights are, to be very specifically putting walkways in places that people won't crowd, or people want the whole thing. And so, he's like this interesting version of a social engineer, and it's just a term of art for him. Like, he's not even saying it to be trippy. He's just saying it's a term of our profession. That entrance is called a portal. So, a very cool conversation, fits in with everything we know about everything. But what I saw with this jacket is someone carrying the spell on their body, mobilizing the ontology of Disneyland with them wherever they go, kind of in a secret way. Because like I said, it was hard to read. It's not like anybody who walks by this jacket knows it. So it's kind of got this hidden element to it. And carrying the sort of spell that's inscribed on the portal to Disneyland.
Portals to toilets.
And then sitting down, you brought this story. I hadn't seen this story. And the whole thing, you have Palantir, the ultimate beast system dystopian force on Earth, practicing the same sort of magic as Disneyland. Is pretty intense, man. Things are going on. And if anybody had any doubt that even a tech company like Palantir wasn't actively involved in like witchcraft, like actively involved in occult control, this should dispel any doubts you may have had in your mind.
It's all coming together.
All right, back to the article here. Let's see, where was I? Oh yes, we're talking about Daddy Carp. When the Chore coat was announced in April, it became an instant grail for Palantir's many devotees who are drawn.
A magical object.
Yes,
a rare magical object.
Part of the re-enchantment, the word grail has become adopted to mean something of value, of importance, of desirable, something, an object, like in the NFT realm. If you look for the grails, you look for the ones that have value. Let's see, who are drawn to the hardcore ethos of the CEO, Alex Karp, or Daddy Carp, as he's
the ontology. Hardcore ethos is the ontology.
The ontology, yeah. Palantir is proudly America first. Karp has said that his goal is making America more lethal. And sure enough, the company's marketing emphasizes that the jacket is made in America with 100% American-grown cotton. The jacket also has been easy to mock. Here's a foray into fashion from a nearly $300 billion company that is automating warfare. People have dubbed the quote, the worst clothing release this year, and darkly wondered, quote, is this the uniform that will be issued after we are all put in labor camps? In the ranking of despicability, New York Magazine's approval matrix placed the Palantir Chore coat near flesh-eating bacteria.
which is pretty heavy because, like it says both things. It's a coveted magical object, very exclusive, very coveted by fans of the company. And here's the thing. The fans of the company, which I'm not sure actually exist, but I think they want us to think that there are fans of the company, right? But the fans of the company are not necessarily fans of Palantir because of their technology or because of their national security apparatus or because of those things. These supposed fans of Palantir, fanboys or girls or whatever, they're fans of the ethos, right? Because their technology is repellent to anybody who has a brain, right? But what they're trying to imply here, and what may be true to a degree, is what has also been a very particular part of Palantir's brand, which is we want to win. We love America. We love the West. This very popular message for the alt community is he's super pro-America. He's anti-globalism. He's pro-American dominance. Dominate, dominate, dominate. That's the vibe that they're kind of rolling on to try to create at least the image that there's something to like about them, that there's anything to like about Palantir. And to a degree, it's having some sort of success. So the whole reason for this is to create a magical object to carry the ontology, which the only thing anybody could like about them is their ontology, is dominate, the West rules, globalism bad, blah, blah, blah. And giving them sort of this very special artifact that they can carry with them, reinforcing the fanboyness or reinforcing the devotion that people might have towards their ontology.
Well, I think it's the target, the avatar for the perfect supporter of Palantir are likely the upper echelon of the economic curve, and people who want to be part of maybe, like the dialogue secret society with Peter Thiel that just came out recently. So it's people like that. I don't think it's your common citizen necessarily, and they don't care about the common citizen.
In a way, that's what they need. Or if there are any common citizens, or not even, I wouldn't even say common citizens, but if there are anybody who are not in that sort of elite echelon, it's people who are striving to be in that echelon. The people who see themselves as someone who wants to dominate, join the elite group of tech people, and this is the if they want to be a successful dystopian tech entrepreneur or something, or there's maybe a subconscious part of them that sees the danger of the beast system technology and hope that if they join in, even if they can't join in by getting a job or helping with the technology, but if they join in and join the ontology and appreciate, join the cult, basically, that they may be spared the worst of what the technology is going to make people endure, right?
So if anybody wants to get one for me and you, then they should, because it'll be a great way to produce the show. In the name of journalism, I decided to buy one.
Of
He
course.
doesn't want to associate with the bad folk that love
No,
Palantir.
it's
He's just for the sake of journalism. What would it be like to drape myself in the sartorial expression of one of the most polarizing companies in the United States? The minute the pre-orders went live, I refreshed Palantir's website, frantically typed out my credit card number, and paid $252, including shipping and tax.
Which isn't actually crazy. That's not actually an insane price. You go to Macy's or something and they're going to have $200 jackets.
Yeah. It's not terribly expensive, but this whole idea of the pre-order's alive, type in your credit card number, do it quick. That FOMO is just crazy. It's, I guess you can make FOMO out of anything these days. FOMO being fear of missing out. Within hours, all of the coats had sold out. Mine arrived 2 weeks later in a giant box labeled software collection. Get it? like
Mhm,
software, but like
mhm.
soft clothing, like soft clothing you wear. The
By the
package
way, with these objects, with these kinds of things, the
Yeah.
packaging and the presentation is part of
Oh,
the
yeah.
spell. It's part of the
Yeah,
magic.
that's a huge part of it. Yeah,
That's
of course.
that's something that that Apple and Steve Jobs actually
Yes.
perfected and
Yeah.
developed, and it's part of the power and the lure of iPhone is not just the phone and everything that goes along with it, but when you get an iPhone, they are famous for having put so much time and energy into the packaging and the experience of unpacking it and the
Yeah.
order in which you come in contact with, the quality and, it's all
Right.
part of the magic
The
that
aesthetics and everything, yeah.
goes into
It's
the
an
experience.
experience. It's not
Yeah.
just an object, it's an experience. The package included a placard signed by Sankar, a software domination sticker. This is like a supply drop for Palantir fanboys and
Mhm,
girls.
mhm.
A postcard urging me to chew the glass. I didn't look up what that means. Is there like a specific
It's
thing
just
with
kind
chew
of
the glass?
related to like, "Hey, pain is tolerable." Like,
Right, okay.
be
Yeah, yeah,
tough,
yeah. That's
be
what I thought. Okay,
dominating,
yeah.
chew the glass.
And a luxurious cedar hanger embossed with Palantir's name and logo. A plastic card certified that this was a genuine Palantir Chore coat, number 191 of 200. It's
Ooh.
even numbered. It's like an
Mm.
NFT. Over the past month, I've worn the Chore coat essentially everywhere. It has accompanied me on subway rides and walks around my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I've worn it while perusing a gourmet gift shop stocked with elderberry kombucha, to a dive bar hosting a Friday night drag show. Where's this guy going? And on a weekend trip to Woodstock, New York, surrounded by yoga studios and aging hippies. Sounds like he's
These
just
are
at Burning Man.
He's listing all the places that he's carried the spell, right? That
Yes,
he
yes,
has
he has displayed
represented
the
the
spell. Yeah,
spell.
yeah, yeah. On a few occasions, strangers spotted the Palantir logo and did a double take. One dad scowled at me while he rolled a stroller down the sidewalk. That was me.
Mhm.
But for the most part, people just saw a blue coat. That's the trick.
It's
The
part of
logo
the
is
thing.
small.
It's like the
Yeah.
Disneyland jacket I told you about.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
Very,
amongst
very
the
hidden.
crowd, but
Very
within it
adult.
is a sigil. The logo is small and generic enough to pass notice, and the coat's internet infamy, it turns out, extends only so far into the real world. I received far more passing compliments than shocks of recognition. Quote, "Wow, I love the color," one colleague told me unprompted.
Interesting note about the color.
Yes.
Wow, I love the color. It said earlier in the article that the blue color,
Yeah.
interestingly enough, the Beast Fashion space suits, we commented on the color too a few years
It's the
ago.
same kind of blue. Yeah.
But yeah, it's this very striking blue, and I don't know if they've noted it yet, but part of the
It's
blue,
later, yeah.
it was chosen by Karp. Alex
Yes.
Karp himself chose the blue for the jacket, and at least the author of this says the jacket is reminiscent of the iPhone messaging bubble, the blue that
It's a
is
message.
the
It's
color
it's a
of
message, everybody.
it's the color of the message. Is it the color of the message that you send or receive on an iPhone?
Let
I
me
think it's
check.
the
I think
color that
it's
you send. When you
yeah,
send
yeah, it's the color you send. Yep. Yep, I just
on
checked.
iMessage, when you send a message, it comes in this very recognizable blue color. And again, just to get deeper on it, that iPhone message blue color is actually a really heavy topic in culture because there's this whole sort of meme understanding, this whole cultural understanding that when you meet somebody or you're chatting with somebody, if when you text them, the color is blue, that tells you that they're on an iPhone, that
Right. Unlike
they're
those
in the
evil
club.
people who have the green bubble.
And if you text them and your bubble is green, that means, oh, they're on an Android. They're not one of me.
They're
And it
not one of
also has
us.
practical things like if your message is blue, then you know that the pictures and videos you send will be quality on the other side. When
Right,
you're
yeah.
sending pictures and video with somebody with a green bubble, they're always blurry. They're always really
I don't know what
bad.
happens. Yeah.
I think it's engineered that way. This is part of the social engineering of Apple, is they downgrade the quality of files when you're texting someone with a green bubble, because it's part of how you think of that person. Oh, they're sending me bad pictures. They're sending me bad videos. Oh, they're less than me. They don't have an iPhone. Whereas when you're doing it with blue, it all comes in perfectly, right? So it's part of this built-in social engineering of all of culture, mediating between the relationships that people have with each other, even if it's not, it's only as effective as it is for whoever it is. But the fact that they are stepping in and engineering part of the relationship you have with somebody while you're texting them is very powerful. And so the blue of this jacket being the blue of texting another iPhone user, meaning, oh, you're on the level. You're not less than me. You and I, we can communicate good. We understand each other. The jacket carrying the message of the ontology of Palantir. It's blue, so you're drawn to the message. The message is received, right?
Yeah.
the file has been delivered. I mean, it's really intense. It's cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
cool
anybody
as
else
as in,
you think it's cool.
Understand what's going on here. That's what it's all about, baby. You're seeing behind the veil.
This podcast may be the only one breaking down this sweater to this level. Okay, so he goes on here. I even wore the coat to a shift at my local food co-op. Parenthetical, I know. Which
this
felt
is all
akin.
virtue signaling, by the way, right?
It is, I know.
He's wearing the Palantir coat. He's mobilizing the ontology of the demon beast system. So he has to list all the reasons why it's not actually him. Okay.
He's a journalist, okay? He's just a journalist.
Fan, right? Don't think I actually like Palantir, okay? I'm just carrying their spell everywhere I go. But really, I'm going to drag shows. I work at the co-op. I go to stores that sell kombucha, okay? So I'm cool. I'm really a green bubble, even though I'm carrying all the blue bubbles around. I mean, it's really hilarious.
It is funny, yeah. So he wore the coat to a shift at my local food co-op. I know, which felt akin to showing up to a PETA meeting with a bucket of KFC. In the store, I ran into an acquaintance who praised the buttons. Remember, the buttons have some interesting swirls and stuff on it. When I told him who'd made the coat, he didn't know what to say. I'm picturing, hey, cool coat. Oh, I like the buttons. Oh, who made this? Palantir. And then just jaw drop.
Just stupefied by it. On the buttons, they mention the buttons, how they're really well made. You mentioned that earlier, but he says they are blue swirls.
Which that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
kind of reminiscent of a portal, right? You think of a portal in science fiction; it's sort of a swirly kind of gateway. So the buttons can be kind of reminiscent of the portal of the spell.
The quality of the coat seemed genuinely high, at least to my untrained eye. So I showed it to Andrew Chen, a co-owner of 316, a menswear brand that makes its own Chore coat. Quote, "It's not easy to make something like this in America," he told me as I modeled it for him outside a Manhattan coffee shop. Parenthetical, even a 94-degree day was not going to stop me from my coat. Good job, buddy.
He's wearing it in 94-degree weather
for journalism. It's
not about the function; it's about suffering to carry, to mobilize the ontology.
Yeah. Chen described
pain is what is it? Chaos is tolerable. Pain is what is it?
Pain is tolerable.
Pain is tolerable, right? So he's tolerating the pain of the extreme heat in his jacket.
Heat. Yeah. Chen described the fit as, quote, a little funny, but told me that the, quote, construction looks solid and that, quote, fabric-wise, it's a really nice blue. Pointing out the blue again. Interesting. According to Eliano Yornis, yes, child, do you want to keep reading there, Basil? I got a request from the sun.
Yep. According to Eliano Younis, Palantir's head of strategic engagement, which is exactly what this is. This whole jacket is strategic engagement with culture. The exact shade of blue was personally picked out by Carp. Of course, I mentioned that before. Quote, "This is actually called Carp Blue," he told me. Functionally, Younes, who is 37 years old, is Palantir's in-house fashion guy and meme lord. Okay, so he's responsible for crafting this thing. And you know, something that occurred to me, and not to go too deep in it, but to say he's the fashion guy and meme lord, referencing the meme magic of Trump's early first term, how the meme magic of the internet is responsible for getting Trump elected the first time. So basically, they're saying this is Palantir's in-house wizard, in-house magician.
The Carp Blue.
Yeah, it's Palantir's in-house fashion guy and meme lord. I was making the point about the meme magic in Trump's first campaign, and it was the memes, the memery, the meme magic that got him elected. And so this guy, Younes, Eliano Younes, is Palantir's in-house fashion guy and meme lord, basically saying he's the in-house magician that is casting this spell to manage the engagement with the society.
My son just came up to me before you go on. He just came up to me and was telling me about Daddy Longlegs, and he showed me, I don't know what he's in. He's left to his own devices. He's 5. His hands were completely blue. Message received. Message received.
Crazy.
I tried to show it on camera. They kind of showed up kind of grayish on the camera, but so he's getting his hands into something over there.
Interesting.
So. Yeah.
It goes on.
Right.
He spoke about the Chore coat like a proud parent. I heard about the, quote, American bull denim made of cotton that's grown in Texas and North Carolina, the many weeks spent on getting the pockets just right, and the orders that have rushed in from countries around the world. This includes France, where Chore coats were first made for laborers in the 19th century. Their famous blue color is where blue collar comes from. So specifically, the traditional blue of the Chore coat, in this case, Alex Carp blue, is where the term blue collar comes from. So specifically, this jacket, this spell, is specifically designed to engage with the regular man, blue collar. With with which these tech companies and these tech overlords are constantly campaigning to be seen as just a regular guy. Right?
Yeah. This is perfect. How did blue collar come about? Oh, the blue collars from the Chore coats. That's it. We make a Chore coat and we make the blue, but make it the message blue. Yeah, I can picture that. I think we're just breaking down the board meeting when they came up with this whole thing,
it's the whole thing is a spell. I'll finish this paragraph, and then if you want to pick it up, you can.
Sure.
The irony was not lost on me as I wore the coat at my desk and typed away at my laptop. So even
slave,
even the co-op journalist, the drag show going good liberal journalist is cosplaying as a blue collar worker thanks to this jacket.
When we spoke on Zoom last week, Younes was decked out in full Palantir branded apparel. Black shorts, black shirt, black bucket hat, Cadillac. You guys know that song. Palantir has started to push all kinds of merch. Its offerings include a t-shirt that says "Dominate" beneath a watercolor illustration of carp and sunglasses. Gee, $75 plus tax and $75 for a shirt that says "Dominate" with Alex Carp's face on there. An off-white sweatshirt printed with Silicon Valley dropouts on the back, a reference to the company's decision to move its headquarters out of the Bay Area. And a nylon tote bag that can accommodate up to a 17-inch laptop. Last month, when Palantir held an event in Tokyo to launch the bucket hat, people waited up to 2 hours in line to buy one. The hat comes with a poster that is printed with a full analysis of Carp's body composition. Age 58 years old, weight 77.2 kilograms, body fat 8%.
Notice
showing off his body fat.
Well, right.
That's
Notice
so
how
weird.
all the merch, it's doing two things. All the merch is specifically created to carry forth the ontology and the story of Palantir, right?
Yeah,
Silicon Valley dropouts, dominate. It's
Yes,
telling the
yeah.
story of Palantir. It's not just trendy. It's not just whatever. They're spreading them around, and in a couple of cases, putting Carp's body composition on the hat. He's on the shirt. It's glorifying Carp as this sort of worshipped figure, right? You get to know these secret things about the prophet or about the whatever. So it's very aggrandizing to Carp himself, and again, mobilizing the ontology of the company.
I also think the hat's coming with a poster with the Carp's body composition thing. It's also normalizing, having your biometrics be part of your being. Like your data.
He's giving up his privacy.
Giving
right?
up privacy. Yeah.
Things that are as private as his whole body composition, he's giving people on a poster to post on their wall, sending the message like, hey, like even my body composition isn't private. Like, look, don't worry about the privacy concerns.
Yeah. Eunice,
I don't know if you had a plan when you wanted to just show the merch store. I see you have the link to the merch store.
Yeah, I have it there. Yeah, I mean, we'll skip this paragraph. It just talks about all the different products that various tech companies have rolled out. So nothing too crazy there. Okay, so here it talks about essentially none of this swag is actually sold to the public. Palantir meaning like the tech stuff. Palantir, meanwhile, is explicitly trying to become a lifestyle brand. As Eunice has put it on X, quote, Palantir is the lifestyle brand, the most pro-West, meritocratic, winning obsessed, and based brand of the face of the earth.
Exactly. That's that ontology. That
ontology
if somebody is a fan, if somebody is gonna worship Palantir, again, it's not because of the tech. It's because of the ontology. It's because of this pro-West, meritocratic, winning, obsessed, based brand on the face of the earth, right?
So based. This is crazy. I mean, they're just picking up all the buzzwords of
which,
culture.
in a way, is reflecting also the bad parts about Palantir. Because again, it's going to spy on you. It's going to know all your secrets. It's going to do so. Trying to be a lifestyle brand, what they're saying is like, no, giving up all your privacy is a lifestyle. Okay.
It's a lifestyle.
This is going to be part of your life at every step of the way. None of it will be private. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually a cool lifestyle that you can live. You might not have a choice to live that lifestyle. Most people are going to be forced to have lack of privacy as their lifestyle, whether they like it or not. But you have the choice to buy into the ontology, buy into the lifestyle brand, and really give yourself into slavehood and like it, right? And enjoy it and accept it as how you want to live, giving up your privacy.
To some degree, it is working. Quote, expletive. That's a Palantir chore coat. A young guy in a white t-shirt and a gold chain yelled at me as I walked down the street in Lower Manhattan. A rapper just
cool. A cool guy noticed my cool thing. Isn't he cool?
A Palantir fan who I like how, this author, this journalist just assumes that this man is a Palantir fan,
Well,
snap, you got the chore coat. I want one.
Yeah.
He's a Palantir fan who refused to give me his name. He refused to give you his name.
Ironic, right?
Yeah,
ironic to be a fan of
ironic.
Palantir and then not want to give up your name.
He had heard about the coat and wanted one for himself. No, he wanted an exclusive coat by the super tech bro company, not because he loves Palantir.
Look, the danger is also that, ironically, I would have one of these. I don't know if I would
That's
wear
what I'm
it.
saying.
That's
an
my ironic, amazing thing that exists and is hilarious and absurd. It's the type of thing that I would brag about having.
Honestly, if we did a big Canary Cry event, you and I would be on stage wearing these. You know,
You know
it would
what,
just be the
guys?
joke. Yeah,
I think I know it. I think I can solve all of our problems. And I
we
think
need to
I get
become
it.
a fashion, a lifestyle
No.
brand.
Canary Cry is a lifestyle brand.
It
That's
is.
what we're missing out on. And it kind of already is in a way.
It
I
is.
mean,
Yeah, it is. It's,
you know,
we
you've
got
been with us
seeds, we
for-
got cards, we got all kinds of stuff.
if you've been with us for 15
Supply
years,
drop
you
this.
kind of get it. We're not just a podcast, okay? We're a way of life. Canary Cry. Dude, that might be what's wrong with this picture.
Next level. Yeah,
Hey,
the next level of our.
If anybody out there has any ideas to make Canary Cry a lifestyle brand, let us know. I mean, that's basically what the supply drop is doing. That's where you get all your exclusive Canary Cry merch.
You know what we need to do is we need to launch an exclusive, I don't know, a chore coat, and create FOMO. As much as possible to get people.
we do the t-shirt council, of course, so we're kind of like doing it a little bit, and go join the Canary Cry t-shirt council, but maybe it's a little bit more, and the t-shirt council is exclusive, right?
It is exclusive.
You can't just buy the t-shirts when they're made. You got to be part of the council. So we're kind of already a little bit kind of getting it, but yeah, I agree. Actually, a really dope jacket, like a thing that like this would be cool. Might find a way to do it, maybe, but it's like maybe is connect it. We got to connect it to value for value. We can't sell the jacket, which is kind of the point of everything, folks. We can't sell it. We got to do it like you got to executive produce or something like that. Something in line.
Palantir strategy is familiar. The company makes a new product in limited quantities.
It could be we could give them away at knighthood when people get knighted.
That's true. We would have a large back order though of knights that would want one. And that would cost us quite a bit too.
We'd figure out a way. Maybe if you've been knighted for like 10 years, maybe an executive producership will send you the jacket. We'll make sure you get it.
The company makes a new product in limited quantities, hypes it up before a pre-announced release, and then proceeds to quickly sell out of it. On eBay, Palantir coats are going for $600.
By the way, I did, of course, just do a quick little search on eBay. There is the Palantir lightweight chore coat black, not the blue one, but black, medium size. It's the same thing. Got the tag, got all the things. 500 or best offer is where it's sitting on eBay right now.
Yeah,
it's size medium, maybe a little small for me.
I don't know. I know. Do you know that there's a little renaissance happening with like card games and like Pokemon cards and stuff right now?
Oh yeah.
I went through an old box of stuff that I've collected over the years. And I found my NBA cards, like NBA from like the early 90s. I wasn't even 10 years old when I was collecting these. And I have a Shaquille O'Neal rookie card that I might get. It is good. Yeah. I think it's like it's like $1,500 or something.
Hey, there you go.
PSA 10 or something. So, people collect things. You never know. You never know when the demand is going to show up. But anyway, the same trick.
Hold on real quick.
Yeah.
Marty Not Sir K. Shout out to Marty Not Sir K.
Yeah.
Says maybe for episode 1000.
Ooh.
We are coming up on episode 1000.
We are. Yeah.
And it's far enough away that we could actually get it made and plan it. It's 50 episodes away. So maybe by like September or December, it'll be time. Let's think about that.
That would be so cool. That would actually be so cool.
That.
And then what would be cool? We could start doing patches and stuff afterwards. People can sew in some.
Yeah, to put on the jacket.
Yeah, to put on. Well, not put on the inside of the jacket. Not even on the outside.
We've talked about forever, long ago, doing the Canary Cry. What is it called?
Satchel or something?
Achievement badges. What are they called in like Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts?
They're just achievement. Yeah, they're achievement patches.
There's patches. For it. I don't know
Is
what it
there?
is, but yeah, the achievement patches for achieving a certain thing. You get
Mhm.
the patch. Now we need the jacket so people can put the patches on the jacket. We could launch the jacket and launch the patches at the same time. Sir Dove, back when we were talking about this, he already designed like more than a dozen patches. Like we already have
Yeah, I
them.
know, I know.
ready to
We're
go.
already we're good to go. So, no, I think
Good thought, Marty
uh,
Sir K. Marty, not Sir K. Thank you very much.
everyone pray on it. Make it happen.
Everybody pray on it.
The same
Merit
trick of
badges.
juicing
Sorry,
merit
Joshua.
badges.
You merit badges. That's what they're called.
Okay. I didn't call them that when I was a kid, but yeah, that is what it's called now. The same trick of juicing artificial scarcity is everywhere. I want to juice some artificial scarcity. Uh, by the way, if you are producing this show, you are a juiced, scarce asset.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Stay Tuned Magazine in the chat says this is mental. I'm literally doing this and the same thing with patches and jackets. LMAO. Stay Tuned Magazine. You want to help us do some jackets, some patches? You got the skills? What are you thinking, man? Send us an email.
Stay tuned.
Email
Stay
us
tuned.
at Stay Tuned Magazine. Email us canarycryradio@gmail.com if you got some, maybe at least some advice. If you've got some tips and tricks to do jackets and patches, reach out there. Stay Tuned Magazine.
In November, when Starbucks dropped special edition teddy bear coffee cups, police officers had to break up fights between adults trying to scoop them up. Great.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, yeah, okay, so people
we
are
don't
fighting
need
over
to.
stuff. Yeah. Palantir needs neither. The company is so notoriously opaque and does such sensitive government work that even its own employees can't always describe what it does. Palantir's software can feel incomprehensible and intangible, if not dystopian. But therein lies the appeal of a well-made coat. By selling merch, Palantir comes off as a smaller and more human operation. Eunice, who said he's one of 2 employees focused on the company's store, told me with apparent earnestness, quote, "I feel like I'm running a small family-owned and operated business," end quote.
Of course, yeah.
Perhaps it's no wonder, yeah.
Unless you had anything super specific, I think maybe we can kind of jump down to
we can land there,
I think we kind of get it. We don't need to get into all these
negative
whatever. The analysis
blah,
of the
blah,
journalist. We don't need to.
Okay, we need to land it here. Okay. The jacket. No other product better encapsulates how exhausting and predictable it is to be online right now. A jacket. The merch industrial complex has come so far from KFC branded clogs and Panera's baguette purse that even a company like Palantir is hawking swag for the likes of the lulz, or for likes and lulz. Next month,
he's missing the point. I think
he's absolutely missing the point.
Totally
No,
missing the point.
No,
I think
he is.
He's belittling it, and that's part of the spell. He's thinking it's
spell.
nothing. It's nonsense. It's just silly, and I think he's missing it.
But we need to know what's next. Next month, Palantir plans to release a tennis skirt. So we know what that means. And to celebrate America's 250th birthday, boxing gloves.
Of course.
Okay. One day, Eunice said he wants to drop a Palantir espresso machine. Sure, why not? It's more than a bit sad. But so is the alternative, in which Palantir disappears entirely into the shadows. At least online, Palantir is just like everyone else. The spell has worked on this journalist.
This guy's totally
he actually fell for the spell. He's like, oh, they're just like us.
It's just,
man.
Yeah, right. He's totally missing it. That's hilarious. I mean, and of course, the liberal journalist who even comes to make fun of it totally misses the point. Yeah. Goodness gracious. Well, that's great.
I'm looking at their store here on store.palantir.com, and they got the bucket hat. They got an American patch. It's just I wonder where the spell is written on that thing.
Yeah, it's underneath the embroidery. It's very interesting. Broadening out the sort of scope here. 2 other merch things that have been hilarious in recent times. One was Tucker's merch, And
Yes. Yeah.
you go through Tucker's merch store, and it's really interesting because liberal millennials love Tucker merch. Like
Yeah.
he's found this balance in his merch that liberal millennials are liking it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of interesting.
Like the low
considering
IQ hats and stuff, right?
yeah, low IQ, the kind of I love New York City brands, like the the I heart New York City, but instead of a heart, it's a hammer and sickle. Was
Right.
one of
Yeah.
them. Neoconservatives are gay is one of them.
The
Oh my
the
god.
FAGA hat.
Yeah. That's a big part of Tucker Carlson. The other interesting merch store was Palm Beach Pete, the guy
Oh,
who
he
looks
made
like
the rounds this weekend.
yeah, he's
He was
got
on
some
Alex
stuff going on.
Jones.
But that was an interesting thing too. Palm Beach Pete, the guy who people think is Epstein, and maybe he is, who knows? He did a merch store with some very similar things.
Oh, his store has a SSL
Oh,
handshake fail.
Oh,
So
he's gotta
his
renew
store
that
got taken
certificate.
down.
I get it, Palm Beach Pete. It's hard keeping those certificates going.
That's funny. That's funny.
All
All
right.
right.
All
Well,
right.
there Beast
That's good.
Fashion is in good hands. It's in Alex
Alive and
Karp's
strong. And
magical hands.
as of course, as was always our meta-analysis of the beast fashion theory, much more important than people think.
Yeah.
Much more important than people think. Okay, I got a thing, and it is also from the Atlantic. Okay, it was a big Atlantic day. I'm going to jump around a little bit, but I think it's interesting, and it's a little bit in the same, it's a little bit connected, okay? Not that it's in the same category, but a little bit connected. Of course, Palantir, their military-industrial complex ties, the military running on Palantir, the targeting, the this, the that, in a related sense. I've got a story here about a little interesting update on the war in Ukraine.
Fight for Ukraine, new world order.
Russia.
And
this girl must be practicing witchcraft.
That's right. Okay, so it's all a little connected. We're talking about the age of re-enchantment. We're talking about the occult operating at these big, broad levels. And we haven't had an update in Ukraine in a while. Of course, there's been lots of other things going on, but Ukraine is still happening, and it's kind of been happening in the background. Not a whole lot of news on it. Nobody's really paying attention. But this came floating by my desk, and the headline is "The Warrior Witches of Ukraine's Resistance." The warrior witches of Ukraine's resistance. And we've been talking about fifth generation warfare. We've been talking about Ukraine as the testing ground for the new age of drone warfare and insurgency. And the sort of updates to modern warfare continue when it comes to the proving ground that is the Ukraine war. Let's see what
wasn't this jingle, this gal?
Fight for Ukraine, new world order.
Wasn't she one of those Ukraine warrior or like soldiers or something?
Yeah. Well, you mean like she was a woman fighting for Ukraine?
Yeah. She was.
Yeah. So
if
yeah,
not military, then some representative or something. But I thought she was like one of these people on the front lines.
Yeah, the
talking about
Ukraine
the New World Order
story has always been interesting too, as the sort of update to modern warfare, not just in those ways, but also in female soldiers, how they were sort of glorifying
female soldiers and drones.
This is a little different though. The warrior witches of Ukraine's resistance. For several months last year, a Ukrainian housewife, 35 and lonely in a marriage that had gone cold, traded WhatsApp messages with a Chechen commander, Ahmad, stationed somewhere in Ukraine's occupied south. You kind of need to know that Chechen soldiers are fighting on behalf of Russia. So a Ukrainian housewife texting a commander on the Russian side. They wrote about their days, their disappointments, what they hoped to do when the war ended. She asked about the front. He told her. Quote, "Send me a picture," she said. Quote, "I want to see your life." One afternoon, he obliged. A photograph taken inside the barracks of himself and another soldier grinning for the camera. Behind them, pinned to the wall, was a map of the compound showing the unit's position. The housewife did not exist. He was a middle-aged officer named Serhiy working for Ukraine's military intelligence directorate, part of a concerted effort to draw secrets from the men sent to occupy the country. Quote, Serhiy was great at flirting, his commander told me. Guys in our team started asking him for dating advice. Shortly after Ahmed sent that photograph, the coordinates it revealed were struck by a Ukrainian drone. Ukraine's resistance is alive and more lethal than ever, but it has changed dramatically since the early days. A man I will call Dmitro, he requested anonymity for reasons of safety, has served with the resistance team inside occupied Kherson from the first days of the full-scale invasion. Quote, "We took insane risks then," he told me. Quote, "Nobody thought the Russians would be here long. Partisan cells sprang up organically. People who knew one another, sometimes ex-military, improvising as they went. Symbolic acts of resistance happen daily." This will come up a couple times. These symbolic acts of resistance happen daily. Ukrainians flew their flag and blared patriotic songs in public. The image of a grandmother pressing sunflower seeds into a Russian paratrooper's hand, quote, "So that sunflowers grow here when you die," traveled around the world. As it became clear the Russians intended to stay, such open defiance faded. Today, expressing support for Ukraine in Russian-occupied areas is likely to earn a trip to, quote, "the basement."
Camera alert.
I was wearing pants today.
Look at it. Yeah, good thing you were. This is like the
Good
second time this has happened, by the way. over the
Yeah,
course of
it's
the
this
Canary Cry verse.
cord to the camera is kind of hanging here.
Yeah. It's
There we
okay.
go.
There's nothing
Well,
egregious.
there's
We're
nothing to
fine.
see here. I'm wearing
We're
pants.
fine.
Here we go.
But be careful, Basil might
speaking
be
of-
a cyber catfisher for the Ukrainians,
Yeah, right.
So
I was
gotta
just
be
here to
careful.
prove that I'm not a Ukrainian housewife. Funny enough, happened when I was talking about the basement, a euphemism
Yeah,
for
it's
Russian
true.
torture chambers. Dmitrio described Russia's repression as a kind of machine. It takes time to get spinning, then it has its own momentum. High-resolution surveillance cameras now blanket city centers. The interrogations are a feature of daily life. Resistance leaders from Mariupol estimate that nearly half of the adult population there has been polygraphed by the Russian security service. So kind of telling this story in this Russian-occupied area of just how gnarly the Russian occupation is, not just occupying necessarily, but they've put up a Palantir-like surveillance state in these occupied territories. And now it's telling the story of the resistance that's happening it's sort of in this setting. Even peaceful acts can meet with extreme repression. In 2022 and 2023, occupation forces in Mariupol effectively banned the colors blue and yellow. Residents described receiving aid packages, including school supplies, with yellow and blue markers ripped out of their boxes. So we've got this sort of surveillance state that they're living in. We also have the sort of social engineering elements of this to try to stamp out any display of support for Ukrainians, even going so far as to banning the colors blue and yellow. It's very Orwellian to sort of not just memory hole, stories or memory hole reporting, but memory holing colors in the area.
Crazy.
Today, Russians' camera net is sophisticated enough to track individuals block by block, masked or not. Petro Andriushenko escaped from Mariupol and now coordinates a cell still operating there. Quote, "Pro-Ukrainian graffiti can get you killed," he told me. Even disguised, your movements can be traced backwards to find where you live. The kind of symbolic resistance once waged by the general public has now given way to intelligence work. Okay, so in this sort of Russian dystopic occupation, controlling even the colors that are available in town and the symbols of the people. Now, in the age of re-enchantment, one thing is people realizing and recognizing the power of symbols, whether they think of it in terms of like sigils or whatever, but this outward explicit war fighting in symbols, whether it's banning symbols, punishing symbols, or using symbols as legit resistance. The kind of symbolic resistance once waged by the general public has now given way to intelligence work carried out by serious operatives. Managed by handlers in unoccupied Ukraine, these agents help identify targets, verify coordinates, and pass them to the Ukrainian military. The location of Ahmed's barracks, although traced through online subterfuge, catfishing, was almost certainly confirmed by an agent on the ground. The result is a movement that has grown both quieter and deadlier. It now feeds the Middle Strike campaign, a sustained drone offensive against targets deep inside the occupied territories, including air defenses, logistics hubs, command posts, and personnel. A crucial link in that kill chain is information from loyal Ukrainians behind enemy lines. So it's going to spend a lot of time talking about this secretive, invisible war being fought by individuals in this location. Their first example of this was a man pretending to be a woman in sort of a catfishing operation. But it goes on to talk about some other examples. Just one little section here. I'm going to skip this section. They give an interesting breakdown on how these intelligence operations, one big point is that these are not intelligence professionals. These are not trained spies. This intelligence network is all civilians. It's citizens who are staying put and learning and finding ways to get information out sort of on their own accord a bit. And it reminds me of your analysis on, hey, in the age of 5th generation warfare, especially online, whether we like it or not, we all become intelligence assets in one way or another by being sort of duped and becoming agents of ideology with our association or disassociation with people like Candace, like Tucker, right? But in this sort of invisible ideological realm, when we get tricked into becoming sort of soldiers of a certain ideology, that's actually becoming an intelligence asset for the psyop that is that ideology, right?
Yeah.
So I thought there's some very interesting connections there. It gives a very detailed description on how exactly, they do their communication with cell phones, and the Russians have control of the cell towers, so they'll have to fly cell phones on drones to come, give it to the people. But it says few resistance agents have professional training. Most learn on the job. Partisans pass around hard copy tradecraft manuals to avoid using vulnerable digital channels. So avoiding this sort of digital thing, they have these hard copy tradecraft manuals. Within Kherson's partisan brigade, one of the most sought after manual is a Soviet era handbook describing CIA catfishing tactics in Africa during the Cold War. No online version exists, but a well-worn original circulates among the resistance. So really fascinating here. One One thing I thought was interesting with the Chore coat from Palantir was they made a point to say that they spent weeks designing the pockets, and specifically these pockets were big enough to carry a soft cover book, to carry a book in the pockets. Very specific, right? And considering the sort of occult significance of the jacket itself, my brain went immediately to like, oh, so you can carry your grimoire, or you can carry, you know, it kind of had this vibe of like, oh, it's very specific. You can carry a book in your magical jacket. And kind of same here. They're talking about this CIA catfishing handbook that's old. It's from the Cold War, where no digital version exists. It is a literal ancient grimoire of how to catfish from the CIA that has to exist in this this hard cover, or you know, this material realm, I guess. Quote, "Your CIA was good at this," Dimitro said. Quote, "You, B-word, knew how to use sex." So referring to a CIA manual on catfishing, which is what we have going on here. Several Ukrainian print shops have developed methods for hiding instruction manuals inside best-selling books. A guard at a Russian checkpoint thumbing through an artificially tattered paperback will likely have no idea that some of the pages explain how to kill him. So they are formatting books to be literal occult hidden instruction manuals or grimoires on how to defeat the Russians. Inside the occupied territories, women form the backbone of the resistance. Many hold positions in Russia's civil administration, at clinics, schools, and government offices, and report to Ukrainian intelligence. They exploit the occupiers' assumptions. Russian soldiers often fail to imagine that women can be combatants. Few suspect that a grandmother passing their barracks every morning, shopping bags in hand, is the first link in a kill chain. Some women volunteer with Russian-based charities supplying aid to military units. Every interaction is a collection opportunity. In late May, a government-linked Russian aid organization circulated a warning about this over Telegram. It had identified individuals, the agency noted, quote, who offer to deliver humanitarian aid to the special military operations zone as, quote, a tactic employed by hostile forces to gather intelligence regarding the deployment of Russian troops. The most valuable sources are the occupiers themselves. In free Ukraine, agents build online relationships with occupation soldiers. Most of the operatives are women, though some men, such as Serhiy, who have a gift for it. Native Russian soldiers tend to be difficult marks. They are transactional. Serhiy commander told me they always ask in the first 5 minutes, to paraphrase, are we going to have adult relations or not? Chechens, by contrast, are much more likely to seek a real relationship and are easier to manipulate. Since its creation in the early 1990s, the national, okay, so it's describing the cohorts of women using their female wiles, not just the female wiles that come to mind, of course, with catfishing, but also using the sort of female instincts of caretaking, you know, volunteering for, hey, let us bring the charity to help out the soldiers. Let us bring the humanitarian aid. So in a lot of ways, mobilizing the sort of the feminine in this, you know, you could consider a sort of hyper masculine place like a war zone.
Yeah.
Since its creation in the early 1990s, the National Academy of the Security Service of Ukraine has trained operatives to cultivate intelligence assets. There are rumors of a new course that requires students to develop online connections with real occupation soldiers. An instructor at the academy who requested anonymity for security reasons would not confirm the course's existence, but insisted that, quote, every intelligence agency does this, even yours. Again, referring back to the CIA. When pressed about specific aspects of the rumor that the highest grades go to students who deliver target coordinates by the end of the course, he smiled. That would indeed earn high marks. Most instruction for resistance agents, however, remains unofficial. Olena Beletska runs the Ukrainians Women's Guard, a volunteer organization launched after Russia's initial assault in 2014 to train women to survive under attack or occupation. By 2022, training had been delivered to more than 60,000 participants, some of whom remained in occupied territory. Most courses cover basic self-defense, survival, but others apply to resistance work. Pipelines smuggle training materials behind enemy lines. One course focuses on defeating polygraphs. Others cover urban surveillance and intelligence gathering. This next section is a bit about how horrendous the war has been for women and all the awful things that happen. It does tell a story of a woman escaping from Russian capture.
Oh, look at this. Yeah.
And yes, says during her own escape, Roxana passed through 33 Russian checkpoints.
Illuminatus!
So you got the 33 in there. And in a way, you could think of these checkpoints as portals. So this
Gateways.
warrior witch was able to make it through 33 Russian portals. And now here to the kicker. Women are crucial to the Ukrainian resistance. Quote, they can go places, do things that men cannot. Andrushenko, who runs Agents Inside Mariupol, told me, quote, they are also ruthless. And this has been an interesting thing in recent culture, like feminism creating or bringing out or celebrating the ruthlessness that women are capable of, you know, and convincing whole generations of women that their feminine ruthlessness is actually their most valuable asset instead of the more traditional caretaking kind of thing. So this is being weaponized. Several resistance leaders call their female agents vidma, a term that appears often in Ukrainian folklore. Its closest translation is witch, but it has very different connotation here. The word and I disagree actually with this analysis, and I'll say why in a second, but they're saying these women are called witches, which I think they're going to say is sort of metaphorical. I would argue it's definitely not, but okay. Its closest translation is witch, but it has a very different connotation here. Well, if you think of modern, at least Western feminism, witch is actually considered a good thing. Even outside of the literal sort of magical practicing woman, of which, again, the culture is praising sort of witchcraft practice for women. And in this age of re-enchantment, we've been tracking how it's become more and more and more popular. This is where witch talk comes from, this whole theme we've been watching here. But it has very different connotation. The word derives from vidate, which means to know. Okay, these witches, they know, sort of gnosis. Licia Orabets, a former member of the Ukrainian parliament, explained, quote, vidmas were wise. They understood the secrets of the surrounding environment. Here in Ukraine, our vidmas were respected for their knowledge, not burned for it. Which has exactly been the sort of, if not redefinition of witches in modern feminism, but a take on the modern feminists would say that witches were always these wise women who had knowledge and who had power and were too powerful, and that's why the patriarchy needed to get rid of them, because You couldn't have powerful women, right? That would be sort of the
narrative.
The narrative, right? And the secular narrative. But so you have similar things here. These women who are fighting the good fight secretly are women who have the secrets of the environment, secrets of the universe, and respected for it. These warrior witches have become Ukraine's most feared intelligence assets. So even in the narrative of this Atlantic article, we've talked spycraft, fifth generation warfare, information warfare, the CIA, again, like many things, have deep roots and practice related to, if not explicitly, occult and esoteric, right? It's sort of the founding principles of this era that we're in. So these warrior witches have become Ukraine's most feared intelligence assets, moving through occupied territory like shadows. Orabets travel abroad often, where she is sometimes asked, quote, "What happens if Ukraine runs out of men?" Quote, "Be careful what you wish for," she says. Quote, "If Ukraine's women are in charge, there won't be a Russian left alive." Watch out.
The Ukrainian women are trying to build nuclear weapons. We must annihilate them before they annihilate the Russians.
And you can see it's kind of setting up for a witch hunt, right? They're setting up, hey, these witches, these warrior witches are the most dangerous thing in the front at Ukraine, setting up any attempt to hunt them down or for Russia to defend against them as a literal witch hunt, which actually is totally in line with the messaging we get from Russia. Remember, it was Putin who's come out and said, we are fighting against satanic occultists. He's talking about the West, the elites, occult leaders of the West, right? Tied into Epstein, tied into everything. He's explicitly said, this war is against satanic, a cult of satanic elites ruling the West. So he's even putting this in the terms of spiritual warfare or a re-enchanted battle or something. And so even though this is written in support of and from the perspective of the witches and calling them a good thing, they are playing directly into the narrative of this spiritual battle. Putin says he's fighting satanic cultists. Ukraine says we have witches fighting on our front lines. The re-enchanted narrative is there for all secular eyes who are not yet re-enchanted to see straight in the Atlantic.
So Ukraine is the new Salem. Is that what I'm hearing?
It could be, as far as the Russians are concerned. Yeah, they're on a witch hunt. The witches are the most dangerous thing to the Russians, which they would have told you. That's what they're saying. We're fighting satanic occultists. Of course, the Atlantic is not framing these witches as satanic occultists, but they are using the sort of Gnostic secret of, hey, no, they're just intelligence agents, okay? They're just intelligence agents. They're just spies. But if you already know, if you're aware, if your eyes are open to the sort of occult nature of spycraft, of CIA, of fifth generation warfare, I mean, it's quite clear and quite explicit, even coming from the Atlantic for a secular audience. This is what's going on. And even if you don't yet believe in magic or the spiritual dimension, dear Atlantic reader, you need to at least be understanding all of this in a spiritual warfare context, sort of taking a secular reader one step closer to sort of controlling the Atlantic, controlling the inevitable re-enchantment of their readers, but seeing it coming, seeing they can't stop it, so stepping in to control the way in which they, step into their own version of re-enchantment. So there's some other little things, but I think I'm not going to jump into them because I think this makes the point. But on a broad cultural sense, I think it's very, very fascinating and also very important to understand ahead of time what your secular friends, your secular family members, how they're being ushered in to the re-enchantment, and under the explanatory narrative of the Russian-Ukraine war, right? An Atlantic reader would be the type of person who would hang up a Ukraine flag outside their house, but not hang up an American flag, right? That type of thing. Very interesting.
Makes sense.
Now, along the same lines, just kind of to make the point, very interesting. Tucker Carlson just came out with an episode, and Tucker Carlson has a man, the myth, the legend we have been following for a very long time, the Merchant of Death, Viktor Bout.
He's back.
He's back. The infamous Russian arms dealer who the Nicolas Cage movie Lord of War was written about. And we last covered Viktor Bout back when he was a prisoner of the US, and the Biden administration traded Viktor Bout, again, the most famous illegal arms dealer on behalf of Russia, traded him as a prisoner for, what was her name? Brittany
Griner.
Brittany Griner, the female basketball player who was imprisoned in Russia for bringing drugs into the country. And Biden traded Viktor Bout, Merchant of Death, to get Brittany Griner back. And when we covered that story, it was just at the beginning of the Ukraine war, and we said, this is a big deal. He is going to pop up again. We don't know how. We don't know why. It probably won't be in a way that we would expect, but you do not let loose upon the earth a prisoner like Viktor Bout, especially with the excuse of trading him for a female basketball player who brought drugs into Russia. Those two things are not the same, okay? But the time,
unless she's a spy for somebody,
it's possible. It was, if it wasn't officially in our Red Book, it was for sure a Red Book prediction that Viktor Bout would come back, become very important. And of course, here he is on Tucker Carlson. I have not listened to the whole thing yet, but I will say, here is Tucker Carlson's post on it. It says, the war in Ukraine is very close to exploding into Europe. Okay, so now Tucker is on this propaganda of like, Russia wants to take over all of Europe, which has been the NATO line for a very long time. So you have Tucker Carlson pushing the NATO, World Economic Forum, European Union line that Russia actually wants to take over the world. Tucker Carlson, who formerly went to Russia to interview Putin to tell the world that that narrative was wrong. And now Tucker Carlson bringing Viktor Bout on to change his entire narrative about Tucker has taken a complete 180 in 101 ways in recent years, and not even years, in recent year. And now this might be the most egregious 180 that Tucker Carlson has taken. And with the help of Viktor Bout, very big deal, says the war in Ukraine is very close to exploding into Europe, including the cities where your kids are taking a semester abroad. Tucker Carlson, bring it in. Your children are going to die because of Ukraine war. No one in the West is paying any attention at all. Oh, this is insane how he's changing his. I mean, talk about subterfuge and catfishing, CIA catfishing. Tucker, CIA man himself, now catfishing his entire audience. Hey, I'm supportive, not support. He never supported Putin, but he was saying, no, the globalists are wrong about the war in Russia. Now he's catfished, total 180. The globalists are not paying enough attention to Russia, and Russia wants to take over the cities where your kids are taking a semester abroad.
Maybe this was part of the deal too, for Tucker to get a sit-down interview with Putin in Russia you got to bring on Viktor Bout.
Its
Yeah?
own
Maybe that
version.
was-
It's its own version of like a prisoner exchange for
Yeah,
Tucker.
yeah, exactly.
No one, he
exactly.
says, no one in the West seems to be paying any attention at all. A warning
Oh,
from
this is
Bout,
classic.
Moscow.
Classic.
And-
No one's paying attention. It's like a classic. You know, but I use that every once in a while on X, and I'm half joke. You know what I mean? It's one of those trolls nowadays where you got to say that, and people go, oh, they get all caught up in it. Still works. The social engineering still works. Did you want us to play this clip over here?
1 second.
Okay, you're setting it up.
There is a clip. There's a 44-second clip that I posted.
Okay.
But I want to read, as we do now, this is sort of our format for presenting a podcast.
Presenting Tucker.
that we haven't actually listened to. But so he does give timestamps and the names of the chapters. So the names of the chapters are The Escalation in Ukraine, What is the Motive for a War with Russia? Is this a religious conflict? Why are civilians sent to the front lines? Why does Zelensky not want an election? Trump's meeting with Putin and how to stop the war. Why would Israel let Ukraine sell weapons to Hamas? Of course, Israel's got to get in there. How many have died this war? At the moment, Bout was traded for Brittany Griner. Okay, so it'll have some insight into that prisoner swap. The globalists attempt to destroy America, of course, there at the end.
Russians don't
The
want
message
to
is
destroy
so
America.
back and forth and topsy-turvy. I guess I'll save a little bit of judgment for when I actually listen to it. But here, just to make the point and connect it to the warrior witches of Ukraine, here's a 44-second clip with Viktor Bout.
We talk about that the globalists basically fully control Europe, especially Soros. For last 30 years, he invested heavily into, grew up all these leaders since their early teens. They become students, they've been paid to study in the universities, then they become activists, then they become politicians, and finally they become leaders of their countries who have basically no even feeling to their own, native countries. They don't care about their own future. They are all part of this suicidal satanic cult. And this is where we come. For me, we talk about that the globalists.
That's the end of it there. So Viktor Bout coming on to talk about the suicidal satanic cult of the West, and the information war continues.
Man, I'm really hoping that Tucker continues down this path, and we see. I mean, Viktor Bout, featuring Viktor Bout, is already pretty egregious. There's not a whole lot of room left. I mean, the only thing left maybe is I don't know, Soros himself going on Tucker Carlson and him apologizing for him too. But it's interesting, man. Interesting.
All over the place. He's
this does not help the crowd calling Tucker Carlson,
CIA.
Russian propaganda. Yeah, CIA, or like just Russian propaganda, like the low level sort of normies that are still thinking in that context. It's now you got, it's crazy, man.
And ironic,
it'll sell more low IQ hats,
Yeah. Maybe ironic's the wrong word. I suppose I'll just say interesting for now, for lack of a better word. How Viktor Bout, infamous for dealing arms in a black market way, fueling warfare all over the world. Some might even make the analysis that he was the yin to the yang that is the American military industrial complex. Because, of course, America spends lots of time and money arming proxy groups on one side or another. And basically, Viktor Bout was the Russian, I guess, portal to arming the opposing proxy groups for Russia, right? America would arm some little rebel group to get our interests taken care of, and Viktor Bout would be the one who comes in and arms the opposing proxy group that our proxy group would fight, which is why we wanted him captured so badly. And now he's out. We said it. We knew it. He's not going to just retire. He's not going to go to Bermuda and just like sit on the beach. He's going to be deployed in a way. And interestingly enough, we see him deployed in the 5th generation warfare sense, trading
instead of arms.
trading
He's doing
information arms
information.
on what is considered another version of the black market, which is Tucker Carlson, sort of black market info war kind of guy.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, so very interesting.
Mm.
And that's sorry, go ahead.
No. I wasn't gonna really say much else.
Yeah, well, I was gonna land the plane too. That was about all I had for today. But I think as updates and analysis of how the information wars are unfolding in front of our eyes here, some very interesting updates to not just the information of the information wars, but like the I guess the manifestation of it, the sort of secret form that it takes, that I think a lot of people are missing because they're a little caught up in the ideology of pro or against Tucker or this or that.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. I think it's actually, if you think about an operation or like a true psyop, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. You know, get everybody arguing about the person, not about the information. And those people who are actually pointing out the information get extremely frustrated and hopefully they quit, you know, because they don't necessarily want, but they want to be able to say, oh, we told you, but, you know, not have enough of a critical mass so that people get angry and, you know, push back against it somehow, you know, so brilliantly done.
Well, there you go. I think that's just about what we got for today, folks. Thank you for tuning in live with us here. And a big shout out to all the podcast listeners. And again, an invitation to produce the show. If you got any value from this show or any other show we've ever done, feel encouraged even to go to canarycry.support and support the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Of course, we've got a few people to thank coming in, supporting the show with their time and their talent. Did we have any new artwork? I don't think I saw any.
I don't think
brand
so.
new artwork.
Yeah,
I did go through and look at the artwork from last week. Very fun. Great job, everybody. Brilliant artwork. I loved it. And we got some people who help out the show with their time that we couldn't do it without them, starting with the timestampers.
Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp.
Morgan E jumped into episode 952 to do the timestamps. Thank you, Morgan E. Appreciate it.
Morgan E, thank you very much.
Yep.
A big shout out to the tech team. I saw some emails there. When I get a chance, I'm going to sit down, catch up with you. Shout out. Of course, thank you to Jam for heading up the Telegram channel. Thank you to Adam42 for heading up the Discord channel. And if you are not a part of those communities or any of the Canary Cry communities, it's a lifestyle brand, baby. You got to get in on the communities. Go to canarycry.party. You'll see invite links to the Telegram and the Discord. And you'll see an invite link to canarycry.community, which is a sort of off-platform forum like community. A lot of great stuff going on there. Thank you to Joe for all your feedback. Thank you to Sir Clank for Clank and Sir Ike. Big shout out to Sir Ike. And other than that, share the show, friends. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with anybody who's looking for a brand new lifestyle brand. We call it Rattling Cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted. I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Rufus Ray in the chat says, I've watched the whole interview. It's not fear-mongering, and through my own research, I'd say I've personally verified just about everything Bout said is true, to the best of my knowledge. And I would say that's exactly right. I would expect basically everything to be true in that Tucker Viktor Bout interview. That's kind of the point. The operation is not, it doesn't work if there isn't a bunch of truth to it. So
yeah.
I'll be interested to check it myself. Don, you got any last words?
Let's see. I'm exhausted. I've been yawning over here for the last half hour or so. So that's not, don't be discouraged, Basil. That was not me being bored by you. That was just very early morning today. And we will see you again in July. I'll see you next month, everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh. This weekend is 4th of July. Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, we will be back on Wednesday. So be with us here Wednesday. Other than that, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk, everybody. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
Woo!
Straight to jail, straight to jail.
Do not come out, you Nazi psychopaths.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Armageddon's on the way. Don't even get me started on bidets, man. Bidets, man. Bidets, man. I'm telling you, you were living the life, man. Bidets, man.
That's on YouTube.
Dang it. I think I was psyoped.
We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry.